Ronald David Roberts was born in 1945. He was the oldest son of the late televangelist Oral Roberts. Ronald was a PK that struggled with who he was as a gay man in a religion that did not accept him for who he was. His father, Oral Roberts, was the first televangelist and was one of the most famous healers in America. He had a worldwide audience in the hundreds of millions. He did not want a gay son. Oral's anti-homosexual rants were so vehement that they can still be found on YouTube videos to this day. In his 30s, 6 months after getting divorced and coming out as gay publicly, Ronald David Roberts took his own life. On June 10, 1982, by the self-inflicted gunshot wound to the heart. His nephew Randy R. Potts wrote a book, and along with his own coming out in an evangelical society of those who judge harshly that which they do not know. In Randy R. Potts, his nephew's own words, "My uncle Ronald David Roberts was the oldest son of Oral Roberts, one of the first televangelists in America. At age 37, only Ronnie was found in a car on the side of the backcountry road, shot dead. He was gay and closeted, and for 10 years now, I have been chasing what few facts remain about the part of his life my family has swept under the rug. In the world of my childhood, spent on a Pentecostal compound in Oklahoma, my Uncle Ronnie was a outhouse flower. The way he laughed, the way he smiled through his beard, his professional cardigan, his glasses, his pipe. I remember him the way you might remember the way the sky was lit on a great day, 20 years ago, brightly yet faintly. He was a brilliant man, fluent in 8 languages including Russian, Polish, and Mandarin Chinese. He was prescribed Tusinex for pain and later arraigned in court in February of 1982 for filing multiple prescriptions from too many doctors. He played the flute beautifully. He served in the military, translated Cold War-era Polish code for the NSA. He was the eldest son of one of the world's first televangelists, but my family still insisted publicly Ronald David Roberts was not gay. To muddy the story even more, I must acknowledge that for the last 5 years of his life, between the ages of 32 and 37, he presented himself as straight. He married a woman and adopted 2 children. He moved back to his hometown, living only a few miles away from his televangelist father. As for the police report of my uncle's death, it is missing. Told by the sheriff that it couldn't be found, I sent a FOIA request and have yet to receive a response. But it's also easy to imagine that Oklahoma's most infamous evangelist didn't want the homosexual history of his oldest son in the news. In the late 1980s, my teenage cousin Rachel was lying in the hospital, convinced she was going to die. That was 5 years after her dad's death. This is how I remember her description of that time. I was lying in a hospital bed, and all I could think of were all the lies that had brought me there. I was anorexic and weighed next to nothing, and I wasn't sure if I wanted to live anymore, especially without the truth. I called my mother over to me and told her I had to know. If I'm going to die, I have to know the truth. Was my father gay? She argued with me. I can't remember much of what she said, but finally she nodded, saying, "Yes, yes, yes, honey, he was." It has been the privilege of my family to tell my Uncle Ronnie's life in a short, easy paragraph. Ronald David Roberts married, adopted 2 children, and taught high school English. He was too brilliant for this world. It tormented him. That brilliance, and he turned to drugs and a gun. This channel is dedicated to all those pastors' kids who still suffer from the effects of spiritual abuse as I do. May we heal together and gain strength with knowledge that we are not alone. Please subscribe and like this video. I will upload other stories of pastors' kids from the past and current. I'll also be uploading videos of the struggles that affect pastors' kids today and their lives as they suffer from spiritual abuse. I want to do this story today because of the fact that I feel like So many people are forgotten in history, and so much things have happened in the past that influence and affect us. Ronald David Roberts. Did anybody actually know he existed? Well, now you do. So now you have a memory for him, and he cannot disappear ever again. This channel is dedicated to all those pastors' kids who still suffer from the effects of spiritual abuse, as I do. May we heal together and gain strength with knowing that we are not